Hi everyone, I hope you've had a great weekend. We certainly have had really good numbers through all our open houses on the weekend. I think it's starting to warm up weather-wise, and I think the market's starting to heat up as well with more buyers coming into the market. It's definitely coming into springtime. I mean, it's spring in, I don't know, what is it, 30 days? Say 3 or 4 days. So things are starting to heat up before the September school holidays. So looking forward to a great run from now until Christmas time. Look guys, tonight the topic is the biggest risk in property is not taking a risk at all. Something that I've done since I started buying property is taking risks. Now, they're educated risks, but risks nonetheless. So, I'm a big believer in, with no risk, there can't be a reward. If you look at a lot of the more successful people in the business world, they would have taken risks sometime along the way, and some bigger than others. And the rewards far outweigh. And there's a lot of people that have gone the other way and been bankrupt and come again. And look, hopefully that doesn't happen to anyone viewing out there tonight, or it's happened to anyone in the past. But look, I've got a couple of mentors that have lost quite a bit of money and learnt from their mistakes, but safe to say, touch wood, at the moment that's not me. So hopefully it stays that way, but definitely taking a number of risks. Look, the difference between being good and great is risk. As mentioned, I see a lot of people out there sitting on the sidelines, looking at property all the time, looking to make that step, but just not getting to the final finish line, basically. So they'll be looking for 3 or 4 months, then eventually a couple of sales fall through. They then decide to sit on the sidelines for another year or so. I've seen a group of buyers that have been looking for say 12 months or so. So if they're looking for 12 months, you could have missed about basically at least 10% in growth in some areas. There's people that refer to some people as getting lucky. Well, I have referred to this on this Sunday Night Talk occasionally, that you do make your own luck, and you do have to get into the market to be in there. And some people have said that some of the properties I've bought over the years have been quite a risky play. But I think if you are in the market, you do have the commodity, you do have the stock, you do have the ability to trade in and out, or do work to it. It's a very different game. Not saying that shares are a bad thing, but look, you can sell a little bit of shares. So with property, you are all in. You can tenant the property if it doesn't sell. Like say if you bought a property to renovate, you could realistically paint it, or and rent it out for a while until the property market turns around. And there's definitely there's opportunities there where you might buy a property that's on 2 lots and cut it into 2, like the Grayers did at Sudan Street, and build 2 beautiful family homes. So you do have different options. If the market changed in that situation, just using that as an example, they could have sat on that property for a number of years. So there's different opportunities. I think you got to jump in. Make sure that the risk is not too great, but there is always going to be that element of risk. I think if you sit there and are conservative in property and don't do anything, you'll just never end up buying anything. So you might ask yourself, should you be listening tonight? It's one of those things that only you can answer. Should you take this advice on board? Are you someone that is ultra conservative? Are you someone that isn't going to go to that next level? Well, I'd hope that some of the people listening, or if you've taken the step to tune in tonight or listen to this at a later time, you will adopt some of the tactics that I've used down the track. I also invite you to think about, are you ready to hear this too? You may be one of those people that, have thought about it and never acted on it. There's a lot of gunners out there, and I've talked about that in the past. There's a lot of people that are going to do this, going to do that, and they're always looking to buy that property but never go to the next step. So there's always those sort of people. So, I invite you to really dig deep and really look at, your property strategy and where you want to end up. And if a lot of people they do call me and they're sitting right on that fence. But, if they bought 3 years ago or bought that property, there's a lot of, shoulda, coulda, wouldas. And, look, we all wish we bought in Sydney, 3 years ago. A very good friend of mine, he bought a house in Sydney, moving up to Brisbane. Paid 1.385 million and just sold it for 2,161,000. Probably maybe it was a risky pay. Maybe his friends, maybe his family were talking to him at the time saying, oh, you shouldn't be buying that property. Well, look, there's an $800,000 profit in that. So you got to be in it, and without being in it, you're not going to get anywhere. Look, guys, I just want to touch on 3 points tonight, and those 3 points are, that first one I mentioned. There is without reward, there is no reward without risk. Look at today. Look, probably everyone watching this, I know we did. We watched the fight. Floyd Mayweather versus Conor McGregor. Who couldn't watch that fight? It was hyped up. There was risk involved in that. Look, these are lessons you can learn. Floyd was 49-0, going to fight a guy that had never fought before in boxing. Obviously, great in mixed martial arts, MMA, but it was a bit of an unknown. And look, I've done a bit of sparring in my time. I'm absolutely hopeless, but from talking to a lot of people, all it took was one punch to diminish that, that perfect record. And Floyd's made a lot of money over this time. But what was the reward there? There was a reward of a large payday having that fight. There was a reward in, setting his family, up for life, and his kids. I don't think there'll be a generation of Mayweathers having any money troubles anytime soon. They really, but he risked everything that he'd fought for and trained for since he'd, got that, bronze medal at the Olympics all those years ago. He risked all that, for a huge payday. And it could have easily been one punch that hit him, Conor could have got a lucky one in. I mean, there was the first few rounds, he was looking all right. But, that's just showing you the risk that he took there to basically the reward that was given was, a multi-million-dollar payday, And so, fair play to someone like that. There's one example. And the other thing I want to say is a lot of people just sit around and there's property deals out there every single day. You just, you do make your money where you buy, and I've, had a couple of buyers that quote me on that. So you do make your money when you buy. So, you've got to be in that market to make things work. And then you might be trading up, taking the profit, moving it into another one. You might look, as I said, to rent the property out and use the equity to buy another one. So, just really get yourself off that fence, because, so many people get to that point and then watch too much news, listen to too many people's opinions, and there's a lot of negative people out there. If you listen to everyone's advice and watch the news every night, you'll never leave home. So forget about that. Listen to your inner self. Listen to what your gut feeling's telling you. You've probably been to a few auctions, looked at a few properties. You should be able to make a decision. Other thing is, you only live once. So, you've got to have a go. The best people that I've had, dealings with in property have all had a go and risked it. Some have risked it all and made a fortune, and some, as mentioned before, risked it and lost a fair bit. So, the only risk in property, coming back to the point, the only risk in property is not doing anything at all. So, guys and girls, I hope you have a really good week ahead, and I hope you get something out of this tonight. I'd love to, if you've got any private messages or need any advice on any of your property needs, I look forward to seeing everyone next week, and I hope everyone has a good week. Thank you.